Right, welcome back. It's next project time. This kit's going to be the third and last of the Revell Kilmer Batman Forever kits that I bought. So, here goes. Right, moving over to my chest freezer. You can see it's the Batboat from Batman Forever, which will complete the set. You see the box is a bit battered, but I'm not worried about that. You see a completed mock-up on the side there. And a bit more. Like I said, it is battered, but it doesn't matter. I bought it off the same seller as I bought the Batmobile off. I think it's like £15 each. Anyway, there's not that many sprues, so I don't think this is going to take that long. So you've got the crown sprue, which has got really good detail on it. Again, I'll be stripping that with a bleach. You've got the two halves of the rear wing that'll have to be glued together. You've got the lower part of the hull, nice and smooth on the bottom. You got the rear rib section of the top part of the hull. That includes the opening for the cockpit tub, exhaust there, and then you got the forward section of the upper hull, and then you got the two legs for the stand. Then you've got your clear canopy there, and last but not least the cockpit tub. Now I've actually started construction on that. I've put the seat in and I've taped the dashboard in, because much like the Batwing, this doesn't come with a figure. And the reason I mocked it up is because I went up Birmingham. I found a couple of mod shops in Birmingham to try and get a 124 figure to go in this, and I couldn't find one, but I have got a solution for that, for the figure for that, so I'll explain that in due course. Going over to the instructions, they look fairly straightforward. There's only like 5 or 6 pages, so like I said, it shouldn't take that long. And then you've got final assembly with the decal as well. There's the decal, much like the one on the Batwing that I never used, so I'm going to, at least I'll have a spare, because the Batwing's going to go up on the ceiling once I've finished these Batman kits. So there it is. So that's me little kit review done of the Batboat. It's time to get cracking on. Stay with me. Right, work has started on the Batboat. You can see that I've glued the rear part of the top part of the hull, the rib section, to the front part of the top part of the hull. Basically, there's a little channel there at an angle for that, and there's a channel there at an angle for that, and then you've got the channel here which that spine section goes into, so I'll put the glue on there. You also put a bit of glue there and a bit of glue on that side as well from the underneath, as you can see, there and there, so that all holds together. You can see that I've glued the crown piece that I stripped of the dashboard into the steering column. There's the two main crown pieces that go underneath there. Again, I've stripped those with the bleach, so they're lovely and stripped. They're looking really nice. You can see all the parts. It's brought it all out. You've got these two pressure tanks that were also crown parts. I've glued those into place into the cockpit. I've glued the two halves of the main rear wing together. Obviously I've got to tackle that seam. And then last but not least, basically I've just put the stand together just to get it out of the way. Along with the exhaust part as well, that was chrome as well, and I've stripped that and it's come out really nice. So this lot is pretty much ready for primer now. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. Just a quick update for you. As you can see, everything is now primed, looking all the same colour. You can see that I've done a bit of work on the seam edges of the main rear wing, on the top there, and on the underneath as well. Not looking too bad, so obviously I've got to re-primer that. Top part of the hull, again, that's primed. I've primed the strip chrome pieces, steering wheel, steering rack and dashboard, all that's nice and primed, and the cockpit's nice and primed. You can see the everything's the same colour, and the pressure tank chrome, they're all the same colour as well, so I can actually start painting this now. Not bad at all. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. You can see that I've done a bit of work on the Batboat. First of all, start with the inserts. Again, I've just painted them in silver and then dry brush the X23 on. So those are now ready to be glued into the top part of the hull. Now with the top part of the hull, I've just painted round the rib sections, as you can see. So now those are ready to be glued into there. Dashboard and the steering column and the dial, the console dials have been done. I've painted those in black. Unfortunately, the dials haven't really come out that well, and unfortunately, unlike the Batmobile, there's no decals. I wish there was some. So I've painted all that in the black. Then you've got the steering wheel, which is black, silver for the armatures, and then black, and then silver for the bat motif. So that's that done. Then you've got the actual cockpit tub, painted that in black. The tank's in the silver, and then the X23 in those little indentations there, and tied it up with the silver, both sides. Oops. So I've done that. And then with the actual consoles, what I've done with the readouts, I've just put a bit of silver wash on there just to bring those out. On that side as well, so they're not looking too bad at all. Now, if you remember, I said much like the Batwing, it didn't come with a figure, and after searching for a while on Google, and some of the figures on eBay were like going for 20 quid each, I managed to come across a website called Pendle Slot Racing in Lancashire and bought this guy. It cost me £6 all told. I think it was £4 for the figure and £2.50 postage. He's made out of like a rubber, as you can see. His arms and legs move, as you can see. I can actually pull the arms up and down, so wherever, you know, when he grips the steering wheel, I can move them. There's a gap at the back I've got to fill in, obviously. And his head is removable, his helmet. So obviously what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm going to paint him up to Robin. You got the what I like about this as well, it's got like seat belts, so I can bring those out. And then I'm going to put him head on top of that figure, so I can do Robin's head and all his facial features with his mask. And eventually, once he's all painted, I'll drop him into the cockpit, and as you can see, he fits in perfect. Not bad for 6 quid, considering, like I said, on eBay and that, these figures were going for like 20 quid each, so £6. And plus I can keep that helmet, so if I ever need a helmet for the figure, I can keep the helmet. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. As you can see, my figure's all finished with the head. So basically what I did with the milliput, you can see there's like a shirt collar on him. So what I did is I looked at some photos of Robin from Batman Forever, and he had like a curled collar. So I've done the collar with the milliput, put that down, and while it was drying I did the headpiece, which is basically more milliput, and rolled it into like a marble shape, and then let the collar and the head dry for 24 hours. When the head dried, I then started on the mask features, as you can see. But the camera won't focus. So I put that on, got it all straight, the edges all straight, and then with my cocktail stick, just hollowed out the eyes. Put a little dinky nose on him as well, but it's dried like a bloody Muppets character. Get this bloody camera to focus. As you can see, the nose is dried like a Muppets character. And I did a couple of moon shapes for his ears. So there's one, and there's the other. And then once all that had dried, I then flattened down the bottom so it would go flat against the collar, and just glued that on with some of my industrial strength super glue and let that dry for 24 hours. After that had dried, I then proceeded to fill the back in. As you can see, there was a massive channel down there, and I've sanded that down. Looks like a bloody parachute. And as you can see, I've flattened it down there just above my thumb, so he'll sit in the seat in the cockpit. So now all that's done, this guy's ready for primer. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. As you can see, my figure is all now primered. And you can probably make out the details a bit better now on the head. A cross between a Muppet and a bloody turtle. All the back's done as well. So now this is primed, I can now paint this guy. Stay with me. Right, welcome back. A bit more work on the Batboat. You can see that I've primed the underneath hull, the rear transom area. I've redone the wing where I'd sanded it all off, and you know, the seam, it's not looking too bad at all. I've also completed my Robin figure. Right, now with the colours of the Robin figure, because when I left you I just primed it. For his arms and his legs, I used Revell number 40 black green. This came with the Apache that I did a couple of years ago, but lucky the paint's still good, so that's what I used for that, number 40. For the chest area, for his torso basically, I used Revell's 36331 purple red. For the flesh on his face, I used Humbrol number 61. For his gloves and his boots and the seat belts, I just used black. And then for the seat belt fasteners and the coupling, I just used a bit of silver. And then his little collar, I used Humbrol and Abel number 54 metallic. And I must happily say, before I do anything, for his hair, I forgot, I used Humbrol acrylic number 26. Right, you can see he's looking a hell of a lot better. You can see the collar as well. That took a couple of coats, but I got there in the end. And you got his sideburns there for his hair, and he's looking a hell of a lot better. So he's now ready to be mounted into the cockpit. Talking about the cockpit, you can see that I've put the cockpit in and the inserts. Now this is by the plans. You put the cockpit tub in first. Once you've glued the dashboard in, you've got to glue all that in. And then you've got the little pinhole and the little notch with a hole that goes into the pin. And then you've got like an indentation which is on top of the cockpit. So the cockpit tub, and then on the inside of there, and you just line those up. So that's what I've done. So I've just glued that in, line the pinhole and the indentation up the front of there, and just use gravity to hold that down. And then for the inserts, you run your glue around the edges, and then you insert them at an angle. And as you can see, they go underneath the cockpit. Quite difficult to get those in, but they went in eventually, and as you can see, my clamps are holding those down. So not too bad so far. I'm getting there. Stay with me.